Well, follow your nose. It always knows. Well, maybe not for you, Doctor Who. Worst since 1986. The ratings take a nosedive. Yeah. At one point, it was saying something because, in my opinion, yeah, that the late 80s of Doctor Who was pretty bad. But boy, I would take those shows over this any day. Because at least the concepts were, they tried, So the overnights come in for the current episode, and it was only 3.97 million. Now, we don't have the consolidated ratings yet, but we'll get to that in a bit. But you would think there would be a little bit more interest among Doctor Who watchers because there was an uptick in the last episode. Well, everybody knew the Jadoon were coming back, so there was some interest in that. And I hadn't heard it. It was a bit of a surprise to me when I watched the episode, but apparently it did leak that Captain Jack would appear. And he did, and if you blinked, you missed it. That's the problem. Maybe that explains a lot. They screwed us again, and they got mad and didn't show up next week. So there was that. But if you watch the episode, it was a very significant episode. It was the big surprise is that, no, we learned there's another doctor that we never knew about. And she was introduced and all that. So then you think, well, I'll tune in next week to see if they give us any more clues as to what in the world that was all about. No, they didn't. And considering people were probably pissed off about Captain Jack just being teased and then ripped away, I might have pissed them off and they all left, because, boy, this is really, really dismal. Now, did the episode deserve this treatment? Yes, it did. It was bad, but you wouldn't know that. Yeah, you would kind of know. But I couldn't even finish my own review of it. It was so awful. And I watched other reviews and oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot they did mention this and that, but it just doesn't matter. I quit the review in the middle of my own review and started talking about the Disney Plus Marvel shows on the ads in the Super Bowl because that was more interesting. And it's one of those where it could have been a good episode with better writers and people who were interested, but then it's just the only reason they did it was to tell you that plastic in the ocean is bad, in case you didn't know. So there you go. You don't have to watch it now. I explained it to you. So. Has there been any word of potential changes in the BBC regards? No, because I think that's theirs. That's their their agenda even more than Chibnall's. By the way, there's a funny parody about Chibnall. some kids did. I'll go try to find it and link it below. It's pretty good, especially when they mention, Chibnall's got a checklist of things he's got to include in each episode, and he's following it religiously. Yeah. So regarding the 7-day DVR viewings being better, viewers obviously skip the commercials, which doesn't make advertisers, that's true, doesn't make them happy. So even though you add more with that, so the consolidated views, they always refer to saving grace for Jody, it's not the best way to go about it. It is true that you have other options of viewing it. So you don't have to watch Doctor Who Sunday for whatever reason. You just aren't watching it that night or that day, and you watch it Wednesday. So let's say a couple of more million people will come in and watch it Wednesday, but they're not watching the advertisers, And that's the source of income for it beyond the taxpayers of Britain who have to also support it, which... Look, you still got to produce a show they want to watch. You're making them pay for something they don't like. I mean, come on. So it needs to make money. So the rest of it, he lists some people. What is this from Reddit? I like Whittaker a lot. I find her great as I don't. I'm sure I don't have a problem with her personally, but I'm just not seeing anything there. I thought I did at first. I thought she was building something, and it's just not there. It's just a bad David Tennant impression. The other actors have zero chemistry. That's true. The companions, it's too many companions for once. But some people seem to suggest that she needs them to distract you from she's not really carrying the show. And because a lot of people said that Joe Martin shows up and outacts her within a few minutes. So it's like, I let Joe Martin be the future Doctor, you know. You might actually have something there. I don't know. So it's a lot of complaints here and that sort of thing. So with the consolidated ratings, you know, they'll come in and say that's the saving grace. Another YouTuber who is far more successful than I am, a Hills Babyface, or is it Heel versus Babyface? But I like his videos. He does pretty good with these. And he went into depth about the ratings. So I'll link that too. He does a better job of it. I'm too lazy to do it. But in the comparisons between Capaldi and Jody, and he actually does better, especially with the consolidated views. He was adding a couple of million more viewers there, better than what Jody's doing. And Jody's trends has been down ever since, even at the height of, you know, she had that spectacular opening, and that was because, wow, new doctor, first female doctor, let's see what this is about. So everyone turned in, and that's, you know, a no-brainer. But then the trend was always down. And even when you consolidated you know, for the rest of the week, it just, you know, it's not enough there to say that saves the show, because you want to keep increasing your overnight views, and she's just not doing it. So he was looking over and using Doctor Who TV. The overnights for the previous episode hadn't come out by the time he did the video, but here they are. And it went from 4.42 to 5.42. 5.57. So there it is for that. Not a whole lot. That's pretty slim pickings. So, and that was the uptick episode. It's because, you know, the Janoon and Captain Jack and all that. And then you got the big reveal and you think, oh, well, let's see what's going to happen next. Even though you didn't get anything, but you wouldn't know that going into it. But nevertheless, this is what it is. So I don't even know if he can make 5 million with the consolidated, but yeah, because I don't think anyone's going to hear how, oh, this was so great, you got to watch this one. No, it wasn't. It was very bad and very stupid. So don't see much of that coming there. But anyway, the point being, the consolidated ratings are not the saving grace here. And are also to the point that, you know, there's no advertisers to be viewed that way. And if you're going to look at that, Capaldi did better. But the whole idea was that Capaldi was so bad they had to get him out of there and make a big change. And it was time and all this stuff. And, well, you didn't even achieve that. So a Doctor Who's in trouble. It's pointless to keep denying it. It's in serious trouble. And I don't know what they're doing here with this other doctor. There's one possible pathway that I discussed, that you could just state she's a future doctor. And if you've already mapped this out, I mean, that would be quite an interesting way of handling it, because Jodie's got another season coming, that they mapped it out that far in advance that Joe Martin will be her successor, which is a thing I always thought would be cool to do. But I didn't think they would do it, you know, in the middle of the second season with the third season on the way that far in advance. What if Joe can't do it? You know, I mean, then you've got a problem. But this business of retconning Doctor Who and all of that, and then some people trying to squeeze her in between Patrick Troughton and Pertwee, that doesn't work either. No. And Chibnall's already ruled out the alternate universe thing and all that, unless he's lying. He said, no, it's an alternate timeline. You know, I said parallel universe. Also, well, that's kind of what it is. You know, whatever. But yeah, he could do that. And but you know, it's just seems pretty desperate. So there you go with Doctor Who's ratings, and seems all pretty sad, doesn't it? Yeah. But the downward trend continues, and nowhere near the heights, you know, of the first season. When it debuted. So, yeah, there you go. But the other, one other aspect was I keep referring to Capaldi because, but the downward spiral began. You can actually see it within Matt Smith. The interest was ebbing. And then Capaldi comes in, is doing all right for a while there, but then the trend continues to steadily go down. Not as bad as Jodie, but it did. So they said, well, it's a downward trend and there's nothing you can do about it. But then Jody had that big debut. You had a chance to capture this audience and interest them with a good show. You didn't do that. So they saw it. They said, well, this is stupid. And they moved on. It took them a couple of episodes. I mean, it was still pretty high. It wasn't as high as the debut episode, but for that first season. But then it steadily goes down, and people, oh, this is ridiculous. And that was it. And you're not getting them back. And that's the problem. So the downward trend overall is not enough of an excuse here. These stories are terrible. And Jody, the thing about Capaldi is that, did he have bad? Oh, yes, he did. He had terrible episodes. None of it was his fault. He was an excellent actor, in my opinion. He was the best of the new Who actors to play Doctor Who, but he got pretty much at that time the worst of the stories. But he had this charisma and charm he could carry an episode. I just don't see that in Jody. I don't see it in any of her cast. And that's a problem there. Some of the things I've been seeing here, and I've suspected this because I'm only guessing, because I've only can go by what other people have described her performances in other shows and whatnot, is that it seems to be her strength is more to darker roles, to people that are upset or depressed or something like that. And I gotta say, when I see her like that, I see that as a strength on her part, that she can do that. And I'm thinking that might have been a way to handle her Doctor, as, and especially how Capaldi's Doctor ends, where he's all depressed and he doesn't even want to regenerate. That could have been a holdover to how her Doctor is. And then slowly she builds on that and becomes more heroic and, what have you. That could have played to her strengths, and you could have eased it in better that way for her to become this Doctor, and not this ridiculous David Tennant ripoff. That's terrible. And I think that would have played, I'm guessing, of course, to Jodie's strengths, but it didn't. And she's trying to be something she's not. And I mean, that's the idea of acting, of course, but I just don't think it's a character she's capable of cracking here. And she's had plenty of episodes to get there, and I'm not seeing it. Of course, she's not helped by the scripts. They're not helping her at all, and that's not her fault. But, the idea that, can your star carry a bad show? No, she can't. And that's just too bad. All right, there we are. Doctor Who continuing to nosedive. Thank you for watching and listening. Say, why not like and subscribe, and check out that link description below. That'll take you to my many stores that have plenty of goodies for you. Mugs, hats, stickers, and t-shirts. Oh, yeah. T-shirts, yeah. And you can head over to indieplanet.com and pick up my comic book, Night Night, based on my audio plays of the same name, because it's the same guy. Oh, yes. So check out Night Night, on sale now at indieplanet.com. And you can catch my podcast over at radiomisfits.com, the Mr Nailsin Show, with new episodes every Saturday. And, of course, you can watch my videos over at BitChute. That's the Mr Nailsin channel at bitchute.com.